Now let's have a look at Max and how well he's driven this year. I mean, look what happened in Baku. I mean, those were just absolute 25 points, 26 points probably in the bag for him, and they just went like that through no fault of his own. And got to say, in brackets here, new stiffer rears, tyre failure on Max's car and indeed Lance Stroll's in Baku. Have Pirelli reacted to those tyre failures? They say not. They say these were in the works long before Baku, but you wonder how much they've rushed it through as a result of that. So if they have, there's a slight irony there that Red Bull are now suffering a little because of those new stiffer rears. And it was the rear, of course, that went on Max's car in Baku. I think, all the stuff that happened after Silverstone, if looking back now, very easy for me to say it, and I'm not managing Max Verstappen at all, obviously. But if I was, I wouldn't have allowed Red Bull to have appealed that decision after Silverstone. I would have done the opposite. I would have done a whole, let's get on with it. These things happen. It's motor racing. We're two good racing drivers out there fighting for the world championship. Bring it on. To make everybody feel sort of calm. And then I would have just gone for the jugular in Hungary and kept all my, as Bernie says, keep your powder dry. Don't let them know what you're really thinking. And I think Red Bull revealed a little bit too much there with that appeal, which was never going to succeed. Regardless of what they came up with, it was never going to succeed. There's no precedent for something like that succeeding. The issue for Red Bull now, as I say, is they've got this exquisite Adrian Newey car. And if you look at the back of the Red Bull and you look at the shape of the diffuser and all the artwork that's gone in to the sculpting of the airflow around that diffuser, and you look at any other car, Mercedes pretty near it, but Mercedes focusing more perhaps on their cooling package and just getting that really spot on and obviously tightening up the area around the engine, the power unit. But if you look at what Adrian Newey's done there, it is, for him, probably incredibly irritating that this mid-season change to the stiffer rear Pirelli has somehow affected the way the air is now sitting in that car or flowing in that car. Center of pressure, are we talking about? Is the center of pressure changed as a result of the new rear? That's what it would look like, and if that is the case, that's quite a big change from Red Bull's point of view. You'd have to think, given this little break, it's a good time for Red Bull to have had this break, for Adrian Newey to be thinking to himself, so what is the solution to this particular problem? What are the tyres doing? One of the problems he's got, of course, is he doesn't have a lot of data from Pirelli. Pirelli do not provide a lot of data to the teams about the dynamic state of their tyres, in the same way that, of course, Bridgestone used to when they were hand in glove with Ferrari, Michael Schumacher and Ross Brawn. That is not the situation. So Adrian probably has to do a little bit of guesstimation in terms of the effect of the new rear Pirellis, and let's see what the car is like around Spa. And there's a question mark there also about engines for Max and whether or not they will give him a new engine yet again for Spa or not, because he had a new engine in Hungary. We'll have to wait and see how they compare there. But looking at Spa, don't write Spa off as a Mercedes circuit because they seem to be good in a straight line and they have power, or they were quite good in a straight line. Okay, but you kind of think of Mercedes and Spa. But Red Bull have always been really good in Sector 2 around Spa, so that will be what they're thinking, how to capitalize that and how to set up the car in terms of their wing level and their downforce level based on what they can do around Sector 2, and there might still be their advantage or not. That's where we're going to really see, I think, where they're at with these, with the effect of these tyres. Just talking about top speeds, Mercedes managed to find more top speed from about Austria onwards. So it would be interesting now to go back to a circuit like Ricard and see how they compare in top speed, whether that's just in terms of aerodynamic adjustment or whether they've done something more fundamental in terms of the overall downforce generated by the car. I don't think anybody knows, but it'll be interesting to see how their top speeds compare when they get to Monza, for example, Mercedes versus Red Bull, Honda. And then finally in this segment, I think we should include Ferrari because, they are Ferrari, aren't they? I think they benefited too from the stiffer rear Pirelli. I think they benefited too from the 2021 regulations where they've been forced to take some of the aero crud off the car, and it's a more simple, it's a more simple, basic, adjustable car that they have now. now. They don't get it right every race, but they seem to do their homework pretty well. And come race day, as ever, they seem to have a pretty good race car. And as we saw at Silverstone, it only takes a couple of things to go in their favour for a driver like Charles Leclerc to be able to convert that into a potential race win. Superb drive by Charles at Silverstone. He's driven very well throughout the year, really, and it's such a shame. I still, think it's an incredible shame that Lance Stroll just took him out in Hungary, because that could have been a really good day for Ferrari. And I think they've benefited, as I say, by the stiffer rear as well. And just on that subject, probably McLaren have lost a little bit of pace from the stiffer rear since Silverstone, a little bit, but not a lot. But I think Ferrari looks good. I mean, they're quite a well-balanced team now, because Charles is quite clearly right up there with Max and Lewis when it comes to quality. And then you've got Carlos Sainz in the other car, who's quite capable of putting in a good professional job. Such a shame that when he had the chance to sort of pick the team up by the shoulders in Hungary, he couldn't do more with that. And he was more worried about the guy behind him than he was about trying to catch the two guys in front and maybe getting a win. And I still maintain that if Charles had been in that car from lap 1, in the position that Carlos was in, that he probably would have been, I don't know, second, maybe even won the race, who knows. But that, that's the difference. And it's showing up, really, as the season goes on.